Finally, back on this chair, in front of these posters, reviewing to you. Good to be back. Guys, thank you so much for your patience. I am very grateful for that. I am a full-time finance student on top of having 2 jobs. So my priorities are obviously catered towards that. But, this is what I love to do, man. So I'm glad I'm here and I'm glad you guys stick around. I really appreciate it. Today I will be reviewing Dune Part 2. This is directed by Denis Villeneuve. It is written by him, John Spates, and based off the book by Frank Herbert. The first movie to this was amazing. I do think it was magnificent. It did a great job at world building and storytelling and setting up what is this sequel. I do think it ended a bit iffy. Didn't really feel like an ending. But I get it, because if you put these 2 movies together, it's a seamless 5 to 6 hour film. So the story starts off, Paul Atreides, he's getting to know the Fremen ways, he's assimilating to their culture and their being, little by little showing signs of this messianic prophecy that has been planted into the population of the Fremen by the Bene Gesserit, of course one of which being Paul's mother. As this goes on and his influence increases, you get to the point where this film transitions to more of a war film. And you have the introduction of Austin Butler's character, and so much storytelling is done within 2 hours and 50 minutes. This is a very long movie, and while everything does feel purposeful, some things could have been drawn out more for me. So I watched this movie about a week and a half ago. I have held back from coming out with a review and actually recording it because I've just wanted to think about it. I have been wanting to marinate on what I've seen. I want to give you guys my most thoughtful review. And this is a movie that provokes a lot of thought, which is usually some of my favorites. The director, Denis Villeneuve, is a very interesting person. I think I made a joke once where David Fincher is an A student in the film industry. This guy would be up there as well. They'd both be fighting for valedictorian because his catalog and his consistency is outstanding. There are so many frames in his movies where you could grab that image and it'll be a poster. Perfectly good poster. He's got such a good visual eye on what's satisfying and a good sense of mise-en-scene. There is a great deal of depth to almost every single film he makes. He is someone who caters more towards science fiction. He could create his own world there. And he actually has said before that in a science fiction world, I'm referencing a interview he did talking about Dune. In a science fiction world, he could speak about aspects in this real world without offending anyone. And he does it here in Dune Part 2. Oh man, this film speaks so much about heavy, deep topics, and what I believe the most important being religion being used as a weaponry tool. Paul Atreides, he's a conflicted character. He's very gray. His character arc in this film, you see beginning of this movie, Paul Atreides, to end of this movie, Paul Atreides, and the journey to get here was great. The pacing was a bit too quick on certain subjects, especially when having to do with Paul Atreides. But I do believe for the most part, I'm sold on this guy's performance. Timothee Chalamet impresses me in this performance. There are scenes that require an accessibility to deep emotions that Timothee is able to portray. He can play this person who's deeply in love with Chani, who's played by Zendaya, while at the same time this leader of thousands. He's good, man. He's good. I would say he's going places, but he's already there. I personally believe it is only a matter of time till he wins an Oscar. He's too consistent, coachable, learning to not do that. And it seems he's finding himself as an actor. And I'm very happy to see this guy's journey. The cast in this movie is amazing. There are actors who are grade A actors who only come out for like 5 or 10 minutes. Great mixture of veterans and younger actors who have this excellence mentality in them that eventually you can tell will become these veterans. It's just such a great collection of them, man. And the stand-up performances for me are Javier Bardem as Stilgar and Austin Butler as Fade Rotha. Man, first touching on Javier Bardem, he's such a beast of a performer. This guy can transform and sell this amazing supporting role. Austin Butler, man, I remember watching him as a kid in this movie called Aliens in the Attic, which honestly I do watch from time to time. It is one of those movies where I just watch for entertainment. I don't really have to think about it, shut off my brain. But he's such a kid in that movie, and to watch him in here, oh, it's such a transformation. He's adding so much to his versatility as an actor. He can go from playing Elvis to playing this monster of a character to also playing a pilot during World War II. In this performance, Austin Butler plays this bloodthirsty antagonist to Paul Atreides, who's introduced in horrific fashion very effectively. Austin Butler manipulates his voice yet again, and the mannerisms of his face, specifically in this, it's shown in the trailer, this gladiator fight scene, it's crazy. This guy wants the kill. He's drooling for it, literally. Spot it when you watch it. Out of this world performance. He's going to be a villain to remember. One of the most interesting aspects of this film is Chani's relationship to Paul. Chani is played by Zendaya. Zendaya's performance as Chani is one of her strongest. Chani and Paul's love is definitely there, and you see it, you feel it when both Timothee and Zendaya deliver their lines. It's so believable that this love is real and that it is seemingly destined for them. Just like in the first film, this is a visually stunning movie, one of the most beautiful films I've ever seen. I wholeheartedly believe Blade Runner 2049 is the most visually appealing film to me, and this movie is so close to that. Every single shot is so essential, but it's such a silhouette of a shot, man. Like, you could grab it and make it a poster, as I've said it before. It's a beautiful film, beautiful cinematography, great use of scenery and on-location shooting, and the visual effects are outstanding. It should win Best Visual Effects. The year hasn't even ended or come close to half, but I don't think anything's gonna top this, man. Hans Zimmer's music is so captivating and adds so much to the world of Dune. It's a beautiful complement to the visual effects. There's great usage and holding back of music. For example, when there's very intense fight scene, there's no music, just crisp sound effects that just engulf you in this fight. This film is great, man, and as I've said before, it is one that I had to think about a lot. Denis Villeneuve is saying a lot through it. This film touches a lot on religion and the possibility of weaponizing the masses and manipulating people for one's own self-gain or political power, things like this. I understand the director and I understand where he's coming from. One of the things that happens repeatedly in history is people misusing religion for their own benefit and to promote these atrocious acts. And me personally, as a religious man myself, I am Christian. I see this film as a sort of cautionary tale, just as it was meant to be. Not because I was told it's what it is, but because after viewing it, you really feel that. And it's deep. And at the same time, having watched this, I just feel really proud of the God I serve and who I believe in. I spoke to someone about this a while. Dune Part 2 was in the theaters for a little bit of time. We had the last episodes of Chosen Season 4 in the theaters. I have my own thoughts about The Chosen, and it will be reviewing the seasons in the future. And what I think is very beautiful in a sense is, while we have this corrupted messianic figure in Dune Part 2, you also have the complete foil of him depicted in The Chosen, who's played by Jonathan Rumi, Jesus, who, when asked about growing political power or growing an army, he has no interest in this because that was never his goal. And I'm not here to sound preachy, I'm just being sincere with you on how the film hit me. An amazing experience in the theater. I recommend you do watch it, but please stay to the end where I speak about the PG-13 rating of the film. It's an amazing piece of art. My favorite film of this director to date. He has done amazing films. I'm a huge fan of Prisoners. Blade Runner 2049 is something I respect the aesthetics of more than I respect the substance and the story. But this had both. Just so much respect to everyone who worked in this film. This movie is, for me, an A+. Okay, this movie is rated PG-13. I don't think it deserved that. There were scenes for me that I believed were too strong for a PG-13 audience. Sex is insinuated, and a scene opens up at the very end of the act. There are heterosexual kissing scenes. There's a lot of violence in this film. This film has knife fights, science fiction battles, war. Federata's character has a lot of scenes with spontaneous violence that might be very jarring to some people. There is some gore, and some scenes, specifically with the antagonists, have a very dark aura around it. It is obviously purposeful, but I'm just letting you know, in case you're thinking about taking your kids. I don't think it's a good idea. Don't think many kids would understand this film either way. The movie does have some ritual scenes in the first half of the film. It has to do with the Fremen and the religion that they follow. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please subscribe and like if you like this video. I'm so grateful for you and your patience with me and your understanding. I'll see you guys next time. Take care of each other. Bye bye.